Alright, that's enough, you two. If you don't mind, I would like to continue. The scene shifts to the Batcave. We zoom in on Bruce Wayne's banged-up face. It doesn't look good.
Boy, is that an understatement. He looks like death incarnate. After all.
Sir, no one could have survived that fall.
As witty as you are, Dudley, we are much closer to the beginning of the film than the end. We already established that Batman broke his fall on a gargoyle before hitting the pavement, so it's unlikely that he's dead at this point. Anyway, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Alfred are standing around Mr. Wayne. Batgirl asks if Batman will be okay. Alfred declares that Bruce's head injury is beyond his ability to heal. Nightwing states that Batman needs to go to the hospital. Batgirl asks if Batman can go to the hospital with skepticism in her voice.
Who can blame her for asking that question? If Batman went to the hospital as Batman, it wouldn't take long for the whole world to find out his billion-dollar secret identity.
That is a valid point, Speckles. But Nightwing answers Batgirl by stating that Bruce Wayne can go to the hospital as a reckless billionaire playboy. He instructs her to take Mr. Wayne's civilian car to the middle of nowhere and wreck it. Dick Grayson will take Bruce Wayne to the hospital. Alfred reminds Batgirl to remember to tuck and roll when wrecking Bruce's car. Batgirl remarks that this is a pretty screwed up alibi before taking her leave. Alfred remarks to Nightwing that he will notify Elliot of Bruce's accident. After all, Thomas Elliot is a doctor, so this will give Bruce a chance to spend time with his old childhood friend.
What irony! Hush will be taking care of his own attempted murder victim without even realizing it.
What do you mean?
I mean, Thomas Elliot is Hush! Dun dun dun!
How do you know?
In our last video, I said I would do some research about the villainous Hush Man. According to the DC Villain Fandom website, Hush is none other than Dr. Thomas Elliot. So later in this movie, Batman will be tied up or otherwise impeded, while Hush will reveal himself as Batman's childhood friend and monologue about his fiendish plans. It will be a heartbreaking scene to behold. Heartbreaking, but also predictable. Ha! I figured it out!
That is most certainly a plot twist. I hope we didn't spoil the movie for those planning to watch it. Oh well, we're giving the full review in this video series, so I hardly think it matters. Anyway, after the conversation in the Batcave is over, we go to a hospital. Dr. Elliot is looking at the monitors of Bruce Wayne's skull and brain. He informs Bruce that the surgery couldn't have gone better. Thomas also tells Mr. Wayne that he will have to take it easy for a while. Bruce tells Thomas that he owes him a lot. Dr. Elliot replies it's the least he can do after all the times he left Bruce Wayne hanging in the middle of a conversation.
It's sarcasm, isn't it?
Yep, it's sarcasm. Dr. Elliot, of course, is a little sour after Bruce Wayne left him in the middle of the conversation at the beginning of the movie. Bruce acknowledges he hasn't been a very good friend to leave him in the middle of conversations. Like a good friend, Thomas attempts to lighten the mood by pointing out a headline showing Dr. Elliot saving Bruce Wayne. Then, interestingly, Dr. Elliot explains that he's had more notorious patients than Bruce. When pressed on the matter, Thomas explains that he gets around, and Bruce would know if he hung around more.
Interesting indeed. Notorious patients, eh? I wonder if Dr. Hush has patched up some of Bane's bruises, or helped Catwoman set some broken bones, or even tried to fix Penguin's unusually deformed hands.
At any rate, Bruce promises to hang out more with Thomas. Thomas assures Mr. Wayne that they will always be friends, no matter how annoying Thomas himself can be.
Humph! Likely story! Save it for the jury!
Dr. Elliot then leaves the room, leaving Bruce Wayne to his thoughts.
Let's go back to that snapshot when Dr. Elliot leaves the room. Just look at that smug smile on his face.
I think you're onto something, Speckles. That smile does look a bit villainous. Maybe he is Hush after all.
That is definitely possible. Anyway, the scene then takes us back to Wayne Manor. Beneath the mansion, we see Bruce Wayne working on some of his Batman equipment. Alfred brings Bruce some food and reminds him that Dr. Elliot instructed Mr. Wayne to take 2 more weeks of bed rest. Bruce replies he can't afford resting for another 2 weeks because he needs to visit Blackgate Prison. Alfred puts down the food and states that he knows better than to try to dissuade Batman from his mission.